Mods, we all love them. They're something that almost every game has. Some are good and some are, well, questionable. Now sure, not every game is able to be modded, and normally it's the case of a publisher being a dick. But mods are always a good thing and even increase publicity for a game. But Valve is probably one of the biggest supporters of this movement, to the point where they even allow mods on their digital storefront. And well, that's a good thing. However, there is one mod that in my opinion is easily the best. Portal Epic Edition. Entropy 02 is actually the best source mod. It's well designed and even won ModDB's Mod of the Year for 2022. I have never seen a mod this well received before. So since I gotta make a quota of 2 videos a month, why not talk about this masterpiece of art? Half-Life's gameplay has largely been the same over most of the games. Sure, the transition to the source engine from the Gold source engine was radically different, but the gameplay was pretty similar. Honestly, I was more focused on the difference from HL1 Barney to HL2 Barney. I mean, he turned from a sex offender to someone that's probably afraid of the lethal company Headhunter. But Entropy 0 takes the Half-Life formula and gives it a pinch of adrenaline. And well...
Wow, a gun! That was horses! I wonder if it's loaded.
The gameplay is almost the perfect evolution of the Half-Life gameplay formula. The new stuff added are so great, I wish some of these weapons and mechanics were backported to Half-Life 2. First up, let's go over the replacement for the crowbar. This FBI party trick is just too fun. It just fills my brain with a form of dopamine that cannot be matched with anything on Earth. There's also some really good weapon inspections when you pick up new sandbox items, and honestly these are really cool. They kind of remind me of Prey 2017's pickup animations, just more fluid. The commandable squad mates are so much better. This was a mechanic in Half-Life 2, but in all honesty, it was so poorly made it was more hilarious than functional. In Entropy 02 though, the AI pathfinding is not only better, but also reacts to your commands much better. Now sure, you could argue that since the squad system was only used in one chapter, Follow Freeman, it doesn't need to be as good, and while I'll agree, for a bit, this is such a massive improvement. I'd love for this to get backported. The new weapons are also really fun. Weapons like the MP5 are awesome, and almost the entire weapon arsenal is replaced from Half-Life 2. My favorite of these guns is the Gauss pistol. Think of it as an iteration of Half-Life 1's Gauss gun, but instead of shooting a beam, you shoot a cluster of accurate shots. The best of these new weapons is the Zen grenades. It's so fun and powerful, it pulls everything around them into a green void, which also can spit out enemies or heals. I would hate to get this placed in my mailbox. Also, you know those combine cars called ACPs? Well, you can drive them now. I do think these are way slower than they should be, but these are really cool. Raced X returns and they're way less annoying. These things in opposing force made me want to drown myself with Pepto-Bismol, but here they aren't as bad and are less frequent. And if you somehow haven't figured out that you play as the Combine, the Rebels are pretty fun to fight as well. The AI they have is so impressive to me, each combat encounter feels different. The Rebels even now have shotgunner variants like Overwatch soldiers, which helps with reading combat encounters. They also could have jetpacks, which allow them to take height advantage on you. This happens quite a lot, and while it can be annoying, it ends up being pretty fun overall. The Rebel grenades are also marked in yellow to differentiate it from the Combine. Also, the Rebel-controlled manhacks are also colored differently, so that's good too. There's not much for me to criticize here. I am sad that the manhacks from the first mod don't make a return, even if they were pretty broken. The level design does also have times where you have to look up progress. However, it's not as bad as Entropy 01, and it also could just be a skill issue on my part, so there's that. But overall, Entropy 02's new gameplay additions are great. It makes the original Entropy 0 look like a simple Half-Life 2 level swap with little changes to the gameplay. It's obvious that they took the worst or bland parts from the original mod and fixed them. But this mod does have a story that I'll talk about. If you haven't already played the game and still want to experience it blind, then I click off the video. But you better come back. First chapter is a flashback, not to Entropy 01, but before that in City 17. It might sound odd, but this is my favorite part of the whole game. The amount of personality that is at show here is very insane, and I love it.
Has a good taste. You'll be tasting my blood if you don't shut up.
The interactivity is so awesome, the dialogue is amazing, and the way everyone treats 3650 is very funny. You get the image that your protagonist isn't well liked, and I love that. Anyway, you get put on headcrab duty, hear your fellow civil protection peers talk shit, and kill the people that don't like you.
I'm innocent.
After you get questioned by your superiors, you basically avoid death because you're apparently worth 5 of those guys. And after this is where Entropy 01 would start. However, instead of 3650 just being a person on the team like the original, you take on a more leadership role to the team. After that, the game actually starts.
I only had one thing to give up for this job. My humanity. Some would say. I never had it anyway.
Hey, I don't have humanity too, you wanna be my Anyway, you wake up from the end of Entropy 01, but this time as a Combine Elite. And while you might be thinking this would make 3650 a boring character now, it actually doesn't. Normally in the Half-Life universe, Combine soldiers and their Elite variants have their brains washed of everything that is important in combat, but 3650 doesn't. Instead, it's kept to make it perform better because he wants to use a Combine perk to find his family, which, let's be honest, they're probably dead now, like Half-Life Opposing Force Deathmatch dead. Anyway, you grab the Gauss pistol and meet the advisor. He basically explains what had happened between Entropy 01 and Half-Life 2 Episode 1. And holy shit, a Combine advisor actually has a voice now. So you take an elevator on up, and you apparently are at Nova Prospekt. However, instead of the prison just being cold, dark, and empty, it's now filled with antlions. However, this is where the squad voice sounds familiar, but either way, you raid the facility, and we get introduced to the radio guy, and but I really don't want to bother. Also, if you haven't noticed this video, the radio guy Extraction gets there, and everyone other than you dies, which if you tried to get the achievement I mentioned, you'd probably feel terrible watching all your squad mates die that you had just saved. But overall, this is a great opening to the mod. It sets up the story, gives more character development for a character that was kind of bland before this game, and best of all, Gauss pistol. But 3650 has a job, and that requires him to go to the Arctic. After Nova Prospekt, your ship crashes in the Arctic, but luckily, you should be here. Once you get out of the ship, you get access to the MP5. This weapon was cut from Half-Life 2, and while in this game it's not really too good, it's fine enough. I just normally use it when I don't have any ammunition for my preferred weapons, but in all honesty, I was more interested in our surroundings. That voice sounds familiar, but either way, you raid the facility, and we get introduced to the radio guy and your clone. Also, if you haven't noticed, the radio guy is voiced by an e-celebrity. He runs the Half-Life news channel and the Generation, and according to my YouTube stats from like 2 months ago, y'all watch him apparently, which is kinda neat and weird to think about. I mean, like, I don't understand how our content is similar, but cool. This also means that this is in between Episode 2 and what would have been Episode 3, which is a really cool thing about it. It makes me really want Half-Life 3 even more. But anyway, you choose not to work with a clone because you're kind of a dick, and he sends you to the basement, which actually turns out to be Aperture Science. What the fuck? This is fucking awesome, man, and it's pretty unique too for a Half-Life mod. But you also meet a very important character here.
Weird Tag. What's all this stuff doing here?
Hey, who you calling weird? You are the one with 2 legs.
What the hell? Who the hell are you?
Oh, I'm Wilson. I've been expecting you, you know?
You have?
Meet Wilson, a defective Aperture Science turret that was used by your clone for his own purposes. Once done with the chapter though, you can leave him, but in all honesty, it's much better if you take him with you. I mean, come on, I would want to die if I was stuck in this old abandoned facility, so I decided to take him. This would be the start of a new friendship with the 3650. It shows that he still might have a sliver of humanity left in him. But you still got a job to do, which means you need transportation. So you get a Combine ACP and start driving. Eventually you'll get to the final Albright facility and capture Judith. Now there's actually a lot of lore I skipped. I still want you to play this mod, so this is my way of telling you to go play it. But anyways, let's continue. After you capture Judith, your next objective is to kill your clone. He tries to get you to understand him, but 3650 has the IQ of a dead pigeon and, well, ignores him. Up until he's on his deathbed. You could actually listen to him, or just kill him outright, but I decided to hear him out. After he dies though, Combine Advisor will attempt to wipe your memories, because you know too much apparently. You can accept to get 1 out of 4 endings, or you can shoot him and get the annoying, but unique boss fight. After killing, you get the endings. There's 3 categories for the ending of this mod: bad, meh, and good. The first is the bad ending, which is basically just letting the advisor wipe your memories, which ends up to you dying from Gordon Freeman in a post-credits scene. Nice. The other bad one is related to the good one. You can kick G-Man in the balls by accident and get transporters and you die, kinda similar to what happened if Gordon Freeman didn't accept the G-Man's offer, but if you hear the G-Man out, you get a different outcome. The G-Man gives you payment because the rebels surge in City 10 from Entropy 01 allow the resistance in City 17 to rise up easier. Thus, he gives you an offer and 3650 decides to prevent the Combine from cloning him, because he cannot bring his daughter back. In case you didn't know, each Combine soldier is a copy of someone, and if they die, they can be projected onto a new body, thus creating another soldier. So, 3650 decides to delete his equivalent of System 32 and gets dragged to a portal. Now there's two different versions of the post-credits scene, but they start the same. You are getting interrogated by a Combine advisor because you have it in confrontation with the G-Man. The only difference between this ending and the other one is that Wilson saves you and the other one, he doesn't. Overall, the story is pretty good, and the way it fits itself into the Half-Life lore is pretty great. Overall, I think Entropy 02 is the greatest source mod ever, and I really do think that this is possibly the best mod ever. But anyways, thanks for watching this video. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. If you want to talk to me, go check out my Twitter profile and my Discord server. And I'll see you in the next video. If you have any suggestions about what Source Engine game to talk about next, let me know. Alright, see you next video.
Bye-bye!
Throw in Flashback!